So hello again, guys. You also saw all the data for humanitarian transfers, for humanitarian donations on this screen, and we'll share them again after this lecture, after the session. So please donate, please support Ukraine in any way you can, and these days, the sharing of information, sharing of this dramatic events, sharing info about these dramatic events is crucial. And I also ask you to share these links with your friends, your family, anyone you know. So right now, the next speaker joined our cause, and this time this is Oleh Holubovskyi, producer at Dreamate, and he has 4 questions: stay, leave, fight, or work. So welcome, Oleh.
Hi, Taras. Thank you.
Okay, I can see you, I can hear you clearly, and I starting your presentation. So hope you're okay, hope you are safe, and please take your time, start your session.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to tell our story. I changed name of the presentation a bit because what's happening for now, it's like an insane team building for us. It's insane to tell something about what we've done, how we work after such a powerful videos you guys did and streamed. And after the previous lecture, who told about the completely fucked up things that's going on. But we need to move on. We need to work. We need to share with our Western colleagues what we've going through. So, okay, I'll start. My name is Oleh. Once more, I'm producer at Dreamate. Dreamate, it's a Ukraine-based company. There are 46 of us. We started the big production on September, I suppose. It's 46 and even 4 people we hired after the war starts, after the December. So we going on. We are making steampunk fantasy action RPG game for PC and consoles. Well, just imagine Neverwinter Nights combining with Arcanum. That's what we aiming for. And just before the war, it was completely okay. It was just, we were doing our stuff. We were in the middle of the production. Especially, we were preparing a build for our investor that will show our traction. We already come through several milestones. Well, it was just amazing. We built a great company. We're doing a great job with our game. It was a moment of joy and happiness for all of us. And it's completely insane that I need to put a flag of war on our production timeline because it affected all of us. On the 23rd of December, our main activity was the voiceover. It was our first recording for the build we prepared. Well, major and fun activity, very entertaining. A lot of guys participated, and it was internal voiceover. It's not the kind of we ordering from some outsourcer. It was all our designers, developers who who help our sound designer to create it. And nobody expected what is going on to be next. And the next, as for the overall situation, of course, we were aware of. So everybody knew what the political situation about the troops around Ukraine. Just we were not really thinking that this will be as it occurs. So we prepared, we made ourselves our self-preparations. We create several plans for different escalation situations, and the main was if there will be something really harsh, we will just take a charter airplane to some nearby country and we'll move everybody. Well, nearby country just because it's 1-2 hours of flight, and we reserved our budget and production plans for such an interruption. Besides that, we suppose that there will be no major conflict, major war, and we just will be need to move our employees who live in more east to the safer places, maybe to Kiev and maybe somewhere west. So there were several stages, several strategies, and the one that started was the most insane. I suppose, as you know, it started at 5:30 in the 24th of December. It was the shelling in a lot of cities, and major of our company, our employees is in Kiev, so everybody heard it with a different sound. I mean, somebody was closer, somebody not as much, but everybody woke up and started the conversation, started to assault in the chats, sharing the news, trying to figure out what to do next. And you know, as I said, we already had a plan what to do, because we need to support each other. We need to provide our mates with help and hugging, as I said. So we started in maybe in half of the day. We find out few buses that could transfer us out from Kiev, because at that moment, well, you know, there are part of us. I will tell this in future. There are several of us who started the fight. There are several of us who attended in militia and in volunteers, but most of us had like a lot of relatives, children's that somebody we need to care about, and we provide everyone we could reach with a transfer. There were like 54 of us, I suppose something like 10 children and maybe 10 to 15 cats and dogs and weasels. Well, we paid a lot for this transferring because we were in contact with other studios that attending the same events, the same transferring, and it was really hard to find anything that anyone, any bus, any transport that will deliver us somewhere more safer than it was in Kiev at that moment. We did it. It took there are a lot of transport, and a lot of guys spent more than maybe 26 hours in in a road. There were jams 100 and 200 kilometers long from western part, from eastern part to western part, but we did it. It was hard, but eventually we moved to Khmelnytsky. It's the not as big city on the west side of Ukraine, and our one of our founders, financial director, he is from Khmelnytsky, and we have a legal entity here. So it was our plan to move in here to make a temporary hub base where we could arrange a new work, new life, just in like a safer place. And we stayed in his house. At one moment, it was even, I suppose, like more than 20 people at the same time in there, while the management team, the HR, were finding out how we could provide everyone with a roof above their heads. At that moment, lots of other companies booked hotels and recreation bases. Well, we didn't. Our main plan was our main plan was, I suppose, a plane. So we had a plan and reserved budget, but we had to find the places to stay, because staying the whole studio in one house wasn't an option at all. We did it. We did it too. It wasn't really simple when half of the country is moving in the same direction as you are. At one moment, we even asked, when we talked to landlords, we convinced some of them to rent us the apartments and flats that were not supposed for the rent, they were for the sale. And they were empty. A lot of apartments were like totally empty, without furniture, without the simplest thing we need to live, like refrigerators and this stuff. It was another part of organizational. We bought all this stuff. We organized the decent human being type of living in apartments, just to create normal circumstances to live. We bought air mattresses, floor refrigerators. It became completely natural to share your blanket and pillow because it was not enough. So that's where it became an insane team building. That's where our values become the most significant, when it was the main time where we support each other. In next few weeks, everybody come through strange situation of realization that we are in a war, and it was not, well, no, all of us were doing what we can. I could say it like that. So we had several people that stayed in Kiev and that joined the regional defense platoons. Part of our guys were joining the volunteers, some of them locally, some of them remotely. Most of our mates used their laptops. Well, it was like not only we, but we take our laptops with us because we are from IT. We need to kind of work with it. It's our life in there. So most of them were weapons of informational war, and you can see on the photos, I suppose it's one of the instruments guys from Ukrainian IT did for the DDoS of Russian websites and services. Well, when the first wave of I don't know the exact feeling that we come through, because it was each has its own one, but the main thing we were as a company, I suppose maybe I can say it as a management, we were the thing we were gathered around, it's our values. We formalized them even before the company started the work, and the thing that helped us to did the right things. The main one, well, work and fun, it was the main one before. I suppose that's why it was the first. But during the war, during such circumstances, when we need to support each other in all possible ways, each other and all our relatives, all our warriors, our values become in handy, especially the ones that we worked with for culture of mutual support and creating a cool team. I suppose the biggest part of job did the HR team, because it's very hard to stay insane, to stay focused in such situation. And well, I don't want to say just exact examples what our employees and what we going through. I just want to say that we did a lot for morality. We arrived to each other. We stayed connected all the time. We attended any possible event that could bring us together, just to not left ourselves alone, just to create an area of hugs. I suppose I could say that. There were a lot of one-to-ones, calls. We were taking a lot of attendance of guests were with the cats and dogs, and with animals. So because they helped us going through this too. And that was one of the biggest part of what we did to keeping ourselves sane. The next part, it was we are making the game with the investment of international fund, and at the day the war starts, we had our account Switzerland blocked all the accounts, Russian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian entities. And at one moment, we find ourselves with our money blocked. And it was the situation we had to deal with because lots of companies right now, lots of even IT ones, they create some measures to keep their budgets, keep themselves alive with cutting the costs, cutting the salaries. No, it was not our option from the beginning. We decided that we will pay the salaries at full, even if nobody will work, even if everybody will go to war, volunteer. We just, in the time of war, we need to provide everybody with stability and possibility to care of themselves, to help their relatives and help their country. So our main goal was to provide our employees with money and salaries. And we found ourselves in a situation we merely could do this. It was insane months for me because while our accounts are blocked, we couldn't get the money through the proper legal way. So it was the months of trying to gain new investments in a new baked game dev studio in a country with a war. We did like a lot. We did a lot, and eventually it comes in a real possibility to gain the money. So we did it. We did it too. It was, I suppose, the first time in our existence when we paid the salary with in 2 weeks after our regular date. But we get through it too, and right now we are okay is on the route. I put this image because right now I'm feeling just nothing, just a zen and calmness comparing to what was a month ago. And the next biggest thing we did, and we think it's the main one we need to do, is keeping milestones rolling, keeping alive, doing our job, doing what we can do best. It is making games, because our we are the one of kind of companies that generate that have their money come from the outside into Ukraine, and it's a lot of money monthly because, as I said, we have like 45 of us, and we are all of us are had great expertise. Most of us are seniors in what we are doing. So we had to restore our working pipelines, restore our principles of job getting done, and we did it. We did it too. It was one of the hardest thing because everybody needs to walk through their psychological circumstances, psychological tune. So you need to work when there are a lot of sharing. There are a lot of the news is just the biggest part of the psychological situation, but the air defense signals. I mean I forgot how it's called in English when it's shelling and air defense system signals you about it. Well, we did it. We get through it. At one moment, we started a side project when there were no, maybe in few weeks after the start, we were not still psychologically ready to get back to our project. And at that moment, we started the one that describes how which decent Ukrainian is going through. And it's ongoing. I suppose more information would be later. And it's not the one we did. We already did, and it's on the last stages of production. Maybe it will be released in near future. We did a project in collaboration with our government. I couldn't tell anything more than this, but what I just want to mention that nevertheless, what's going on around us, we managed to get back to what we're doing best and what brings best for our relatives, our country. And we did it even not with just a regular work and with our one main project, but we did more than this. There's just except the volunteers and territorial defense participation. So I suppose right now we get through it pretty well. We became even more gathered, even more tight as a team, as a company than we was before, because it was one insane team building for us, and right now we are on the track of the production. We just finished our previous milestone. Well, we finished it right now, and starting the next one. Most of us already psychologically prepared and went through this with a smile on their faces and ready to fight back with all the possibilities we learned. So I suppose we even will be coming back to Kiev in near future and started the work as it was before. Thank you. That's all.
Well, thank you, Oleh. I admire that you have resumed work and supported your employees, and you are fighting on the economic front, and even started a side project. It's like, wow, it's amazing. I really admire you and your what you're doing. I also have a few questions from our chat. Honestly, I have a lot of questions from our chat, and I think you will find useful to answer all of them on your own. But some questions I would like to ask. How is everyone's health? Is COVID spreading among the evacuees, you know?
Once more, how's everyone?
Health health, COVID-19?
Everybody is okay. We had several guys that stuck in the occupied territories, and it was in Kiev region, and they already come back. When it was several weeks ago, when those territories they occupied, they come back and they were completely, not completely sane, but completely healthy. We have guys staying in the more dangerous area even now, but we all doing good. We all healthy. Everything is fine on this side. Thanks God. Thanks our military services.
Yeah, thanks. And question from James: what do you need to help your studio recover and thrive? Money, software, training, online mentors, anything?
Oh, what we need to help.
Victory, I suppose.
Well, the next biggest part for us right now, the next biggest milestone, it's collaborating with a publisher. So it will be a lot of work with outsourcing stuff like voiceover, localization, testing. So we will search providers, maybe we will work with publisher. We will, well, I don't know, any help you could provide, just contact me. We will admire everything you could help us, and if you could provide anything that we don't really need, we know a lot of guys who need, and we will just transfer.
Yeah, this networking skills and this networking opportunities right now are very useful and life-saving, I suppose. Thank you, Oleg. Thank you all, guys, for your words of support. We have a lot of words of support in our chat. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Oleg, for your speech. I hope our victory will come as soon as possible, and I hope your guys, your employees, will be safe. So thank you, Oleg, and see you. Bye.
See you. Bye.